Hi, I'm Gayla Scrivener, ex-corporate girl and now work-from-anywhere adventure seeker. Creating a work-from-anywhere lifestyle isn't without its challenges, but those challenges certainly don't overshadow all the many benefits. What breaks my heart is seeing folks stuck and unhappy in a career and lifestyle when they want more out of life. I believe that we all have the opportunity to create the life of our dreams and earn a living in fun and creative ways to make our dream lifestyle a reality. You too can experience wonderful adventure and freedom as you live life on your own terms. In this weekly podcast, I share experiences when it comes to growing a lifestyle business through guest interviews, content marketing experience and perspectives, virtual leadership lessons, and I'll even throw in some travel adventures. My hope is through all the interviews, the tips, advice, and personal experience, you'll be inspired and motivated to keep going and creating your dream lifestyle. Life's an adventure. There's no time but the present to live life to the fullest. Hi there, and welcome to the final episode of the year. Wow, another whole year has passed. I'm going to do the old cliche, where has the time gone? If you're a returning listener, let me say thank you. I appreciate you so much for hopping on this journey with me. And if this is your very first time tuning in, welcome. The fact that you're spending some of your valuable time with me doesn't slip by me, that's for sure. Well, you can tell by the title of the show that something is going on. Yep. What today's episode is all about is letting you know that this show, as you know it, is ending. Well, actually, I'm not stopping the podcast altogether. No. Next week, you'll just see a whole new look and a new name for this very podcast. Today, I wanted to share with you why I'm making the change and why I'm so gosh darn excited about it. Kind of sounds corny, but yes, I am gosh darn excited. For many months now, well, let me see. For practically the entire year, I knew that I wanted to change the name of this podcast to better represent who I am and attract the right audience to best share the content that we'd both find the most valuable, the most entertaining, and I wanted to share insights that would move us all forward along our journey. Today, you're listening to episode 191, and that's a heck of a lot of episodes. Quantity and longevity is one thing, but I'm not going to lie to you. There is a good amount of effort involved in each and every episode that there must be a reason to keep going week after week. And there has to be evolution to the show along the way, and that is for sure. Some may be, critical and say, hey, you shouldn't start until you have everything figured out. I don't disagree that the fact that it makes the process a whole lot easier if you follow an exact path, and it's so much easier to follow an exact path if you've done it before. Hindsight is 20/20, right? It is so much easier when you've been on the path before. But that's why you and I follow so many folks who have walked the path that we are wanting to go down, to get some insight on not only how they did things or how they do things so that we may get to our destination faster, but also avoid some of the same mistakes that others have made. The fact of the matter is that until we take the first step and just start, even before we think we have everything figured out, we just don't get closer to what we want. I did several shows under the original name of Accomplish More Podcast. I started the show mainly to challenge myself in many ways. I wanted to stretch myself in figuring out how to express my thoughts better. I wanted to share my experiences to hopefully help others like you accomplish more in their work and in their life. Perhaps I should have put more thought into the whole thing prior to launching my show back in 2017. But you know what? I was totally in a different mindset back then. I've evolved over the years. We all should evolve over the years. My business has evolved. Without starting the podcast in 2017, even without a clear plan, my plan was just to challenge myself, to become consistent and put thought to the show and what message I wanted to share. I had no clarity. I just started. For me, clarity has developed in the challenge of doing. So this show started out as the Accomplish More podcast. But almost from the beginning, I felt like I was a square trying to fit in this round hole. Who was I? I knew I had experience that, if I would share, would help you. But I truly didn't know how to express my thoughts. But I pressed on. For me, I needed to keep with challenging myself to find myself and to share no matter how many downloads I was getting. I knew that, indeed, accomplishing more is something that we'd all like to do. I want to accomplish more at work so that I can grow. I want to accomplish more in my personal life to live a rich and full life. But that podcast name, Accomplish More, really didn't resonate that much with me, let alone with anyone else. Something was a bit off, but that was perfectly okay because I chose to go for it and start the show and go with that name. I didn't want the naming of the podcast to stop me from starting. I could see myself procrastinate even more in starting because I was nervous and unsure about doing it. So I started the show even though I wasn't extremely excited about the name and had already spent a long time thinking about the name. I started. But over time, that feeling that the name was off really didn't go away like I was hoping that it would. Honestly, I was hoping that I'd grow to like the name better. I was hoping that my content would evolve to fit the name. But to be completely honest, looking back at this whole experience, I believe back then I was still in this corporate think. I was trying to be more formal and more corporate-y, and that wasn't like me anymore. I was trying to be someone who I thought others wanted me to be. I started the podcast to be an extension of Scrivener Solutions. And shouldn't I be some sort of official CEO of Scrivener Solutions and play that corporate-y role? I was trying to be somebody that other people wanted me to be. And that was my biggest mistake. And it was about that time that the show made its first branding shift. I came to the realization that I needed to break away from this corporate think. Knowing that Accomplish More wasn't doing it for me, and I really couldn't figure out a better name, a new name, I chose to change the show's name to The Gayla Scrivener Show. What better way to explore who you really are and how you can help your community than a self-branded show? I know that I'm not famous, and the chances of people stumbling onto this show was slim, but I didn't care. It was time for me to create my personal brand. Before, I was hiding behind a company name and trying to play that corporate-y role that truthfully wasn't me. Corporate-y wasn't what I wanted my business to evolve into. I saw the company being an extension of me, but not completely me. So, with the start of the new name of the Gayla Scrivener Show, so too did my personal brand website, GaylaScrivener.com. So, for quite some time, I've been producing this show under my personal brand, always knowing that I'll shift and rebrand someday. And over the past years, under the name of the Gayla Scrivener Show, the underlying core of the message really hasn't changed. What hasn't changed is the fact that what breaks my heart is seeing folks stuck and unhappy in a career and lifestyle when they want more out of life. I was there. I know how it feels. And I believe that we all have the opportunity to create the life of our dreams and earn a living in fun and creative ways to make our dream lifestyle a reality. Each one of us have a different definition of what our dream would really look like. Each one of us has a different idea of what our work would be to feed the life that we love. And what's even so wonderful about our lives is that we evolve, and in different seasons of our lives, we want different things out of life. I love that. And under the Gayla Scrivener Show branding, you have been introduced to many guests because I find it fascinating how many different ways people can earn a living. I love to have conversations and get perspectives from others. I love to have conversations to learn new things. Piecing all the little bits of knowledge gained from meeting new people and trying new things have allowed me to have a much fuller life. And even though some things are a challenge, I have so much fun with my work from anywhere lifestyle that I'm creating for myself. So over this past year, I just kept challenging myself. Really, what is this show all about? And who is it for? This is the question that I kept asking myself. How can I come up with a new show title that reflect a concept? This whole point of creating a personal brand is to express yourself in a way through who you are. That's what a personal brand is. We express ourselves with who we are and our set of beliefs. And we attract like-minded individuals so that we have the pleasure of hanging out with different but very same people to enjoy an aspect of our life. Through our expertise and experience in an area, we can earn a living by helping someone else achieve what they want achieved. Or we're talented in an area to make something or do something that someone else appreciates to show their token of appreciation and enjoyment. And they use tokens of appreciation in the form of currency. I kept asking myself, what is the underlying concept of what the show name should be? Again, for the better part of 2021, that was going on in my head. Every time I would record, it's like, what should the new name be? What is the concept? Then, for the last couple of months now, I've gotten really serious with my intention in changing the name. I've been trying to hone in, and just hone down a different name for the show with intention of launching the new brand at the beginning of 2022. But things weren't coming to me. I asked for help from my team, from my friends and colleagues. I pestered so many people. Everyone was coming up with some great ideas that would have some great keywords that would help in discovery of this channel. I loved it. Thank you, everyone, for your input. But nothing really popped out for me. I didn't want to change the branding to something that was not aligning with my overall philosophy, and I was just ho-hum about. If I was going to change something, I wanted to go all in. I wanted the name to really motivate me to keep going. Although I loved all the ideas coming my way, I saw myself doing what I had done in the past, trying to fit into something, trying to be somebody that other people wanted me to be. And it wasn't until just a few weeks ago. Now, I was listening to Marissa Nielsen's podcast, Live Life Rich. And that's when it hit me. She reminded me in one of her episodes of something very, very, very important. Thank you, Marissa. Marissa was a guest on this show early in the year, and I've had the pleasure of meeting her in person last August. What a wonderful person, such a lively, energetic person. If you haven't caught her show yet, you need to. But anyway, in this particular episode, Marissa reminded me to really put some thought to this question. What is it you want to be known for? Now, I'm listening to her podcast, and I'm doing dishes and housework and all of that. And in the back of my mind, for weeks, I've been staring at a possible name for this podcast and really dragging my feet to pull the trigger. I mean, we even had some artwork made and everything like that. And I was dragging my feet to move forward, to fully go all in, to make it happen for the first of the year. I was considering going a few more months without changing the name, or even the whole year, just scrap the idea. But during listening to Marissa in my earbuds, my thoughts drifted. That happens sometimes, right? You're not totally paying attention when you are listening to a podcast, especially when you're multitasking and doing dishes and all of that stuff. Listening to Marissa in my earbuds, my thoughts drifted to my and Robert's Katy Trail bicycle ride across Missouri. So this was a bicycle ride that was over 300 miles long in the end when everything was said and done. And that was a big deal for us because we're not, athletic people. And bicycling across Missouri was a big deal for us. And we bought this shirt along the trip in one of the little bicycle shops. And the shirt says, "Bike fun, not fast." And I love that philosophy. I just love it. We end up saying it so many times just in casual conversation. Anytime something gets, we get a little too serious about something, it doesn't even have to be about bicycling. We say to each other, Robert and I do, we say, "Bike fun, not fast." Bike fun, not fast, Robert. Don't get so serious. What a great philosophy. I just wished, I'm listening to Marissa, who do I want to be known for? I'm there thinking, how I wished I could come up with a punchy phrase like that to sum up a whole philosophy. Wouldn't it be cool to figure out something like that for my podcast show name? Something punchy, something that sums it up. Marissa, thank you. Thank you, because I was multitasking and not only doing some housework while listening to you, but you triggered some creative juices to flow. What hit me that morning and how my mind was drifting was that at its core, my philosophy is work should be fun. Work can be fun. It doesn't mean that it's not without its challenges and obstacles. It doesn't have to be fun every single minute of the day either. But work can be fun and should be fun a majority of the time. And what's important is living a full and meaningful life. A life full of experiences, learning moments, full of whatever ultimately makes us happy. Does this mean that life is always easy and joyful every single day? No, life is full of the unexpected. It's full of challenges, obstacles, sadness, and sorrow. But you know what? Life is also full of wonderful opportunities that if taken the chance, we can all grow to have such a full life, to appreciate the experiences we've gone through to make us who we are. 4 words. Live full, work fun. Live full, work fun is a whole philosophy that captures so much in 4 little words. It's specific enough to be the anchor of a whole lifestyle and mindset, but yet broad enough to allow for exploration and pivoting in different seasons of our lives and doing new and different things to make our lives meaningful. Work fun. You know what? Fun doesn't always mean that work is not without its challenges. Or we're taking a job for a short time to learn something new, earn the cash we need, or have the benefits we need to help in different areas of our lives. My job for 20 years in the medical field was fun. Yes, challenging. Sometimes downright hard, and it sucked. But overall, I found it fun. Then, over time, it wasn't fun. I felt stuck. I grew to be jaded in the industry and have a negative view of the whole process and politics of what I was doing. My career of 20 years became a fun sucker. I was in a different phase in my life. My daughter graduating from high school. I didn't have the same parental responsibility as in the past. The company I was working for was going to close. It was time to explore and figure out a new career to make work fun again. For Robert and me, downsizing and moving into a 38-foot motorhome and creating our work from anywhere business was our leap into a more meaningful life. When we started traveling and others began to take notice of our newly founded work from anywhere lifestyle, people began to say things like, "Man, I wish I could do that." Or, "I plan on doing traveling like you when I retire." Or, "I planned to do that traveling when I retired, but I haven't gotten around to it yet." We didn't want our life to start when we retired. Work and personal life isn't separate from one another. It intermingles. It's all packaged on who we are. One affects the other. In our quest to create a business that was not only fun, we needed to figure out what business model we should develop that would best fit with our talents and expertise, and at the same time not tie us down in one geographical location. For us, a more meaningful life is exploring the country together, experiencing new things together, meeting new folks and learning from them, spending that time with friends and family for richer appreciation of the past and future. We're only on this earth for a limited time. Live full, work fun. Working fun doesn't always mean you're starting your own business. For you, it may be that you like to work for someone who makes work fun. Maybe you're in transition right now, making that move to have your work life change so that that part of your life becomes more fun and richer. Or you're in a different season of life and you want to make work fun again. Maybe your work direction isn't fun anymore, but it's just because you're in a challenging part of the journey. Living full doesn't always mean vehicle-based nomadic travel like what Robert and I do. Now, Robert and I certainly like that, but we certainly don't travel as much as some of our overlanding friends. We have so many interests. What makes our lives fulfilled involves many different things. Your definition of what makes your life full is different than mine, and that is wonderful. It's a beautiful thing. We write our own scripts for our lives. We don't have to retire to start having fun. And it's never too early and it's never too late to start having fun and living full. Live full, work fun. This podcast will continue by sharing interviews with guests who I meet along my life's adventures, who are finding their way to live full and work fun. Be as inspired as I am, because we all need inspiration to see how they overcome their challenges, see why they do the things they do to be happy, and what they do to make others' lives happier. I'll continue to share some of my adventures and perspectives of what I learned along the way. How in my journey, in my own way, I'm trying to make work fun and life full for our clients and online community. I invite you to come with me and join me in my newly created Live Full, Work Fun Facebook group. Scroll down in the show notes and you'll find the quick links that you need. There's always risk in making changes like rebranding a podcast. The risk of losing listeners is very real. You may listen to this episode either for the first time or you're going to be a long-time listener and choose to unsubscribe. Well, that's what happens. But at the same time, there's the risk of losing listeners if I don't evolve and rebrand. I must be true to myself. I must be myself and not the person who I think everyone else wants me to be. Ultimately, we all should be ourselves. We live a fuller life when we just are ourselves. And you know what? Sometimes, well, most of the time, there will be spots in our lives where we'll need to explore to find ourselves. What makes our work and life fun and full? Life's a wonderful adventure. It's meant to explore. Now, I do hope that you come with me on this adventure. If you don't, you're great too. There's no exact path or map to make your life a full and happy life. I already have several wonderful guest interviews recorded, and I think you're really going to enjoy meeting these folks. So next week, that's when I'll kick off the Live Full Work Fun podcast with a conversation with Liz House. Now, I met Liz back in August at a mastermind event prior to Podcast Movement in Nashville, and her story really struck a chord with me of how she finds work fun and is living a full life. We tucked ourselves away in a corner of a room and did the recording, even though there was a whole bunch of distracting noises in the background. we pressed on. We just had a wonderful time. You're going to love meeting Liz. I'm sure of it. Until next time, have a fantastic week. Let's live full and work fun.